Fried rice is one of my favorite things to make. So last year I shared my fried rice recipe and you guys absolutely loved it. So this year I'm sharing another fried rice recipe with a little twist. So I hope you enjoy this as well. For this recipe, I'm using turkey. You can also use chicken if you prefer. I'm going to season the turkey with some chopped onions, smashed garlic, crushed chicken seasoning cubes, salt, curry powder, and thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme, you can always use the dried one. I'm not going to add any water at this time because I want my turkey to be very tasty. So I'm going to just give this a good mix and then cover and allow to steam on low heat for about 10 minutes. After steaming for a while, the turkey would have released its juices. I'll add more water and then cover and allow this continue to cook for about 15 minutes. I don't want my turkey to be overcooked because I'm still going to fry it. So after about 15 minutes, I'll take it out. If you're using chicken for this recipe, especially the soft chicken, you want to leave it for a shorter time because it won't take as long to cook. So after separating the turkey from the stock, I'm going to go ahead and sieve it. Turkey stock usually contains little broken bones, so it's very important you sieve it to avoid any injuries. After sieving, I'll return the stock back to the pot because I'm going to use it to cook the rice. For the rice, I'm using Sela basmati rice for this recipe and this is the exact brand. If you can't find this one, here are some other options. There are other different brands out there. These are just the ones I've used and I like. Sela basmati rice is different from regular basmati, so just make sure the name says Sela basmati. You can also use any other type of rice you prefer. I usually just like Sela basmati for fried rice, which is a personal preference because I like the way it tastes and I like the way it looks. So I've gone ahead and washed the rice several times. You want to wash until the water runs clear. And you want to make sure the rice is properly washed because that's going to remove a lot of the starch so it's not sticky when cooked. I've returned the washed rice back to the pot. Now I'm going to season with some salt, some curry powder and white pepper. If you don't have white pepper, that's fine, you can just leave it out. I'll give this a good mix and then add some water, then cover and allow to cook for about 20 minutes. If you're using another type of rice, for example the long grain parboiled rice, you want to let it cook for longer. I'll give the rice a good mix to release the steam at the bottom so it doesn't continue cooking, and then I'll set it aside, leaving it open so it can cool down. The first part is done. Now I'm going to move on to the vegetables. For the vegetables, I'll be using carrots, green beans or string beans, green bell pepper, habanero pepper, peas, I use the frozen ones, and sweet corn, I use the canned sweet corn. And you also need some scallions or green onions. I'll go ahead and cut this. So one thing I like to do when making fried rice is I cut my vegetables really small. Most people don't like when there are big chunks of vegetables in their fried rice, so to make it more enjoyable you want to chop it as small as possible. For the scallions, I'm going to be using both the onion part and the green part. Just like the green beans, I'm also going to cut this as small or as thinly as I can. If you have a vegetable chopper like this, that's amazing. I always use my vegetable chopper when making fried rice because it gets the vegetables nice, small and uniform. It's also way faster than using your hands. If you're interested in the vegetable chopper, I'll leave a link in the description box where you can get it. I got mine on Amazon. If you're in Nigeria, you can get it from Kiki's Favorite Things on Instagram. I'll also leave a link for that if you're interested. So I've gone ahead and prepared all my vegetables. If you're using frozen peas like me, put that in water so it thaws. The last thing to prep is the meat. So I wanted little bite-sized turkey chunks in my fried rice, so I'm using turkey thighs for this. I've gone ahead and removed the skin and deboned the turkey thighs. Removing the skin is optional, so if you like it, you can just leave it on. I'll go ahead and cut this into small bite-sized pieces, and just like I mentioned earlier, if you don't have turkey or you don't want to use turkey, you can use chicken for this. When that's done, I'll season the meat with a blend of garlic powder, chicken seasoning cube, and salt. Mix all the spices really well into the meat and then set aside. If you have enough time, you can leave it for longer to marinate. I'm finally done with all the prep work. The next thing to do now is to fry the turkey. I'll fry the turkey until golden brown. When you're doing this, make sure you don't overcrowd the pan so it browns quickly. For a healthier alternative, you can also air fry this or grill. If you're air frying or grilling, grill at a high temperature so it browns quickly without getting too dry. I'm done with the frying. The next thing I'm going to do is scoop out a little bit of the oil and transfer to a large pan. I'm using a wok for this, and this is what I'll be using to make the rice. So I'll start by stir frying the turkey chunks. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes for it to brown. You can also do this in batches so it fries faster. For a healthy alternative, you can also make this in the air fryer. It should take around the same time, which is about 10 to 15 minutes. And you want to air fry at around 375 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 190 degrees Celsius. Moving on to the vegetables, I'm going to start by adding the stronger vegetables first because that's going to take a bit longer to fry. So that's the carrots, the string beans, the scallions, and the habanero. The habanero pepper is completely optional. I like my fried rice just a little bit spicy, which is why I'm adding it. I'll fry these for about 2 minutes and then I'll go in with the peas and the sweet corn. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm using frozen peas, which is already cooked and frozen, so it doesn't need as much time to fry. And I seasoned the vegetables with salt, white pepper, and crushed chicken cube. It's very important to season your vegetables so it tastes good and people aren't tempted to pick it out. I'll continue stir frying this for about 2 to 3 minutes before adding the final vegetable, which is the green bell pepper. Green peppers cook really fast, which is why I'm adding it last. I like my vegetables to be a bit undercooked at this stage because it will continue cooking after I add the rice. And because I'm stir frying the rice for a while, I don't want the vegetables to overcook and lose its color or vibrance. At this stage, it's time to add the rice as well as the fried turkey pieces. I'm now going to mix this really well until everything comes together and then move on to one of the most important parts, which is frying the rice. This is one step I never miss when making fried rice because not only does it elevate the taste, it also gives it a nice texture. Plus, it makes your fried rice literally last for days. So if you notice that your fried rice goes bad or sour after sitting in the pot for about an hour, start doing this step and it's going to make all the difference. So a few tips to help you do this is: 1, you want to start with a wide pot. I usually use a wok because it distributes heat really well. If you don't have a wok, you can use a large pot or a frying pan. If your frying pan is small or you don't have a large enough pot, you can do this in batches. Tip number 2 is to fry on very high heat. We want the rice to toast without overcooking the vegetables. So increase your stove to the highest it can go. Continue stir frying and turning so it doesn't burn. Tip number 3 is to use cold rice. This is why after cooking the rice, I give it a good mix and leave the pot open so most of the steam can escape. And the reason for cold rice is that it fries faster and better than hot or steaming rice. If you're short on time, you can transfer the cooked rice to a wide tray. Just spread it out so it cools faster. You can also pop it in a fridge or freezer so it cools even faster. After stir frying for about 5 minutes, my fried rice is ready. I also added the green part of the scallions for some extra color. I'm going to transfer this to a serving dish. The full written recipe containing all the ingredients used will be in the description box below. You can also find a detailed written recipe that you can print or save on my blog at kikifoodies.com. Let me know what you think about this recipe, and if you make it and you like it, please consider leaving me a 5-star review on my blog. Again, it's kikifoodies.com. Thanks everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're already subscribed, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.